Hello, hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel. So we're starting this day. It's gonna be fun. I assume we're gonna do things with Kota or Kembish. Okay. Around noon, you invite Robert to join you for lunch. Robert takes a seat.
All right, what's this about?
Wow, I can't. Wow. Ooh. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. We have a surprise for you. A Kembish arrives, escorted by Zapito. He serves a dish of thin veal strips and mushrooms and sauce and grated potatoes with cheese. That sounds amazing. What the fuck? Yeah.
I hope you enjoy
it, Robert.
This is a Zurich dish. I live in, Geneva?
Oh, shit. I am so sorry, Robert. I didn't know.
Mr. Josh,
What did I do?
couldn't you have told me he lived in, Jevia?
I'm not the one who looked up Swedish land dishes and cooked the first search result.
Kembish, Mr. Josh, it was a joke. Please calm down. In truth, I am not from Switzerland. In my culture, being given a city's name as a surname is traditional. That's why I am called Robert of Geneva. And while I have a Swiss passport, I am neither born nor raised there. It is just that our mother arranges.
Excuse me.
For all of us to get our passports there, both because she has contacts there and for its visa-free travel privileges. I don't even live in Geneva. I was only joking. This is scrumptious, Kembish. You did a fantastic job with the demi-glance. And the, yes, is a nice touch. This hotel has grown above and beyond to accommodate me. I couldn't ask for better service. Thank you both.
Robert's contract stat permanently went up by 1. Kembish can now cook, yes, to boost a guest's contract stat temporarily. Okay. As you dole out the day's task, you inform your staff about Kota's request. I gave Themba and Robert the same voice, didn't I? It is what it is. Almost everyone was glad for a half day of work, save for a certain Groatslang? Groats? I grabbed my phone. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm really not. You all chose to click the video. Groatslang. Big snake? What? There's nothing I can press for pronunciation, so I can't do that for you all. But it's it says it's, Afrikaans and Dutch for big snake? Big snake.
I do hope this diversion won't set us back too much.
It shouldn't. It's just a couple extra hours. Surely your prodigal accounting skill can make up for the small diversion like this, Themba.
Gee.
It's almost like you don't know me by now. Besides, it's an integral part of hotel management, ensuring the well-being of every staff member.
I suppose. It does fall well in line with your brand of hotel management, Mr. Josh.
Cheeky. Despite that bit of grumbling, your longest standing staff member agreed to meet in the lounge once breakfast. Staff members, yes. Once breakfast had been finished and cleaned up. Bah! Is everyone? Wow! Oh, I forgot to change Asterion's fur color back to white. Oh well, it is what it is. We have Mustard Boy here for now. You find out an out of the way table in the corner of the hearth. Surely its divine flame will help to soothe and center Kota's mind. There you sit with Asterion, Luke, Robert, Kembush, and Themba. The kobolds select to sit on the floor nearby, close to the fire. They chatter and chip, and occupy themselves with a plateful of Luke's fresh-made corn dogs. Oh, Luke. Oh, okay. The man of the hour himself stands, shifting from foot to foot with downcast eyes.
Thank you all for coming. I sincerely apologize for pulling you away from your duties for this.
Themba lets out a quiet grunt.
It's no trouble at all. I was kind of looking forward to really stretching my legs out in the valley today. You could make it up to me by... Luke!
What do you fucking say? Okay. The griffin cracks and waves away your admonishment.
So what's up? What's the occasion? Dahem. Well, I would like to make a request of you all. However, it requires some rather long-winded explanation. All I ask is that you listen with an open mind.
You, Asterion, and everyone else half expect Luke to make another comment at that. Probably raunchy, inappropriate, either way. However, he keeps his beak shut and his clawed hands folded on the tabletop.
To begin, I would like to clear up any misconceptions I may have created about my nature, whether unintentionally or otherwise. I am, or rather was, a god. The guardian deity of a certain river in a small province of Japan.
The kobolds nod, affirmative and uncomplicated. But of course, they return to their corn dogs, perhaps still listening more than they appeared. Another grunt of the as the furrow of Themba's brow deepens, and leans back in his seat, expression stony. Kembish, too, furrows his brow. However, the boar his expression is pensive. Robert is unsurprised, of course. And as for Luke...
Damn, Bluey, I'm sorry. I ain't been giving you the worship each and every part of a fine god like you deserves.
And there it is. The griffin beams with pride at his innuendo, even under the withering glares of those sitting on either side of him. You open your mouth to rebuke the shameless leech again, Lech, and are cut off by a quiet but no less shocked sound. They're just on a swivel. Coda is smiling, and the dragon is chuckling, soft and a babbling brook? Wait, where's the thing I use for a footrest? There it is. Yeah. We'll grab that. Yeah. Well, hot dog, I finally got a laugh. Got you laughing, Bluey. Bluey? Yo, has anyone watched Bluey? That shit's so cute. Bandit's really cute.
I suppose so. Thank you for your contribution, Luke.
Anytime. Now, you gonna come on out and tell us what's on your mind?
Yes. And thank you.
The dragon clears his throat. Oh, now the music's a little quiet. I never know where to keep the levels. The dragon clears his throat, gathering himself once more, speaks open and at ease.
As I was saying, I am not mortal, and therefore, I was not born in this world. Mortals are. My story began a good few years into the reign of the Tokugawa Ieyasu.
Wait. Ieyasu. Maybe.
And far away from what was, at the time, Edo. On the island of Kyushu, some miles north of Satsuma, was a river whose waters flowed both summer warm and winter cold. The local lord wished to split the river into two, so that the warm water could be directed towards an outpost for his troops, and cold water, meanwhile, would fill the rice paddies with which to sate his love of sake. Through years of hard labor, did the Lord's dream come true. The river was split, and the outpost for his samurais was built. The warm river's water, rich in mineral, was used to fill the samurai's baths and hot springs. The outpost became a camp, almost a village unto itself, where armor and swords could be produced in abundance. The cold water on the other river, meanwhile, produced quality of rice unseen before in any province around. A shrine was built where the priests brewed the Lord's sake, and the farmers gave thanks for every bountiful crop. That is the story of as most humans I know it nowadays. But much like a coin, there are two sides to every tale.
Robert hums, almost a low purr.
Especially those which involve mythicals. And the other side of the story, then.
Coda draws himself up and takes a deep breath in, and then lets out, slow and steady, as the flowing of a stream.
Within what particular river lived a Mizuchi, a river spirit, a river dragon. The Lord offered a deal to the dragon in exchange for allowing him and his people use of the river's water. The Mizuchi would be honored as a god. I do not know the specifics of the deal, or what the river spirit demanded in turn for his patronage.
Again, Coda clears his throat.
Regardless, the Mizuchi agreed. And so the Lord's project was carried out. The Mizuchi was pacified with offerings and sake, and allowed the waters to be separated. However, a Mizuchi is tied inextricably to the river. When it was divided, so too was he. His soul split into two, mingling with the waters until until Onsen and I rose, fully formed from our respective streams. There at the fountainhead, where our parent, I suppose you could say, had lived. Wait, I'm confused. You and Onsen guy are, like, each one half of the, other god's soul. You, two halves of a whole. I believe there is a similar story in Greek mythology, where humans were first created. They had 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs. Then Zeus split them into their current forms. That is how soulmates came to be. One human seeking out their, quite literal other half. That is correct. Elaborated more thoroughly, in the And it was, much the same for Onsen and I, in a very literal and very real sense. At the time, we could only think to call ourselves brothers. What else could we possibly be? What else could, possibly describe how close we were? But in truth, we were indeed soulmates. In every meaning of the word.
Coda glances over towards you, cheeks growing dark and flushed. Oh. So that's what you meant by complicated. His head bobs once, a shallow nod.
Maybe. That's what we should have called ourselves from the start. We were drawn to one another like a pair of magnets. Even as we settled into our respective roles, there was always a need to be by each other's side. To, well, make each other whole.
Okay, Luke. Oh, whoops. The dragon leaves his implication to hang in the air.
So, you and your brother.
He grimaces before he can catch himself.
Damn, Bluey. You're a kinky motherfucker, aren't you? I approve. Though maybe brother fuckered. Be more accurate.
With another solace of... What is this word? Solace? What? Yes, we're gonna Google. Salacious.
Salacious.
Salacious. Okay. Having or conveying undue or inappropriate interest in sexual manners. Okay. The griffin turns and holds out a fist towards you. You answer him with a little more than a sigh and a roll of your eyes.
I wonder, would that even count as... Considering the circumstances, I mean. It would depend, I suppose. These things are much different for non-mortals. Even among some species of mythics, for instance, demons of Nuremberg, like myself, were all sculpted by a single person. We call her Mother, which in theory makes us siblings. She incentivizes us to find love among mortals, but it is complicated. A few are accepting of our kind, so there is often no other choice but to pair with another Nuremberg demon. We cannot produce sexually, however, and that is a very reluctant factor in this equation. Many gods of Greek pantheon had dalliances, yes, with one another, despite being related, with that mortal descendants from time to time as well. For the gods, however, it is indeed different than with mortals. As divine beings, they subsists differently. Lord Hades and Lady Persephone were related, and very happily married as well, if one believes the tale of Olympus. They were a far more... they were by far a more soothingly functional couple than any other among the gods. Indeed.
I mean, if they're both male, they wouldn't be in danger of them having children who'd be affected by it. Unless that's different for gods, too.
Well...
can we just change the subject, please?
Coda probably doesn't want us talking about him, and, yeah.
Right. Setting all that aside, what happened once you two were, split from one another? The Lord kept to you his word, I guess.
Yes, he did. Perhaps he truly was willing to indebt his people to the Mizuchi in exchange for the fulfillment of his desire. Or perhaps he believed dividing the waters would cause their guardian's death, and was not anticipating our emergence. Either way, a shrine was constructed for both of us, one on the cold side, the other in the samurai outpost. But as Onsen and I settled into our roles, guarding our respective rivers and those who came to use our waters, we changed in body, mind, and spirit. I didn't always look like this, you know. Their humanity mingled with your divinity, or perhaps elevated it. I suppose so. Their reverence sparked a connection, which both Onsen and I nurtured into reciprocal devotion, so it came to pass that we took our respective places amongst the mortals. I blessed the farmers' rice harvest, and joined the shrine priest in their sake brewing. Onsen, meanwhile, blessed both the hot springs and the samurai who bathed in them, ensuring their victory in battle. We were even gifted a sacred object each. I, a pair of sake cups, and Onsen, an ornamental blade which became the centerpiece of his shrine. And so time passed. The villages flourished. We blessed the mortals who worshipped us, each in our own way. And we stayed by one another's side. Brothers, soulmates, it did not matter to us, as long as we could be together.
And so it happened. You said you'll, y'all went your separate ways 'cause of circumstances, yeah?
Indeed. As they often do, times changed. As the shogunate's rule became more harsh in its efforts to uphold peace, discontent spread among the populace. The nation had been open to the outside world, and it became apparent how Japan had stagnated under the Tokugawa dynasty. War broke out. The young Emperor Meiji was returned to power. The shogunate's forces were crushed, and the restoration of Japan proceeded. The lord of the province and his samurai, among others, rebelled. They feared that the shift towards modernism would end their power, as it had their loved shogun. Onsen joined them in the rebellion, but even his blessings couldn't halt the winds of change. We exchanged many harsh words with one another afterwards. In all our centuries together, I think that was our first argument. It was like being ripped in half all over again.
Glances are shared amongst the dragon's captive audience. However, before anyone could think of anything to say, he continued.
We went our separate ways after the falling out. We needed time needed time away from each other. He went to sleep off the shame of humiliation of defeat within his blade. while I was in my cup.
While I was in my cups. Okay. A humorous smirk.
Quite literally.
I don't get it. What do you mean, in them?
There are many stories from Japan of spirits possessing mundane objects, especially very aged ones, residing within them rather than the material plane. Yes, exactly, Robert. It was something we do from time to time over the centuries, where there weren't any pressing matters to attend to, when we could rest deeper than any sleep.
Weird. But wait, if you knew, where he was then, why are you looking for him now? What happened to him?
No, I'm getting to that. As I said, a few more years passed. I took that long at a rest for my anger to cool, and once more I felt only the longing to be near him. The longing for things to be how they were. So I set out to his shrine, hoping to make amends. However, it had been ransacked. After the dissolution of the Lord's samurai, you see, the outpost was abandoned in place of those fine men who once bathed in Odin's water. Bandits and thieves had come to take whatever was left behind, including his sword and him along with it. I cannot believe my own sin would have allowed them to desecrate his home where he's not still. It was my fault. That was all I could think. If I hadn't. That was the beginning of my journey. I set out in, pursuit of the thieves, tracking them all the way to Tokyo. However, I was too late. Onsen's sword had already been sold to a pair of foreigners and shipped off to America. Friedman and Wright, wealthy collectors of antiques, Satsuma ware, jewelry, and swords, both oriental and taken from the disbanded samurai. I followed their trail across the sea, and I have been following it ever since. Searching far and wide for them. Onsen's word, and Onsen himself. Onsen's sword. Sword? Yes. Only once did I return to Japan, after 10 or 15 years ago. I had exhausted myself, and any possible leads I could find. I wished to see our home once more. To remind myself what we once had. To hearten myself for yet more searching. Then when I arrived, I found our shrines had long demolished and forgotten. What had been our villages consumed by time and human progress. Our rivers befouled. Even if I were to find Onsen, my brother, my soulmate, what home would we have had to return to?
Silence falls, along with your other staff members' faces. Is Kenbish thinking of his family? Of all his loved ones at home who are depending upon him? Is Themba remembering when his family was out from their home in the hotel? All the many years spent waiting, stagnating, hoping beyond hope for a return to what had been. Do Luke's thoughts turn to his own brother, lost to him in all but memory? The kobolds have long forgotten their play and distractions. They huddle together and watch the dragon with wide, keen eyes. You look at Asterion and find him looking back at you. The edges of your hands brush against one another, lingering. At any corner, where men congregate. The song of men now, gone, are all the same.
That is my story. Once again, I apologize for the long-winded explanation, and thank you for your patience. Now, at last, I come to my request.
The others share a few looks with one another as the dragon lowers himself to his knees. And then Kota lowers himself into a deep, hunched-over bow, pressing his forehead against the floor. The pining wind blows. He speaks with a voice of that pine cricket yearning.
Is there anything, anything you can think of, even the smallest detail, what I've said, has sparked the faintest hint of familiarity in you? I beg for your assistance in putting an end to my journey.
He breathes in and out, a shuddering in both form and voice.
I have nothing. I am nothing. These years of wandering have ground me to dust. I am too old, too tired to continue on as only half of a whole. This yearning inside me, this raw, aching emptiness where Onsen should be, I cannot stand it any longer. So if you know anything, if you can do anything, anything at all, then please, please.
A shameful display. Begging like a starving cur, on his hands and knees, begging for that which he knows cannot even be given. The dragon clenches his jaw, blinking away the wet heat gathering in his eyes, the silence deafening him. What must they all be thinking of him, of his pathetic pleading? Unbecoming of a man, let alone a former deity. And yet, what is this loosening within his breast, the weight falling away from his shoulders? No more pretense, and no more being circumspect. I googled this already, and I've already forgotten how to pronounce it, but whatever, I understand. It has all been laid bare for scrutiny and judgment. Perhaps, at last, he may. A vice grip closes around his upper arm, hurling him to his feet, and then weight settle across his shoulders once more. Solid and yet not crushing. Comforting, in fact, almost familiar. Well, of course we're gonna help you, Bluey. The fuck are friends for? Right, guys. Luke, blithe, boisterous, shameless Luke, looks to you all one by one. His eyes have never been so, eagle sharp, scrutinizing every face for a hint of reproach towards the dragon. Well, of course. It is, yes.
If there is anything we or the hotel can do for you, Kota, then all you need to do is ask.
I'm not really sure what I can do to help, but you can count me in.
My knowledge is more than a little, esoteric on the esoteric side, but perhaps I can think of a few things. If nothing else, I am very good at cross-examination. We do have quite a few contacts on the outside. Though, we are more, concerned with the trade in gemstones, and general goods than artifacts and antiques. A little expression of our network may be in order.
A trio of sticky feet, plaid, over to Luke and Kota. Nono leads his brothers over, Gruggy and Zapito at his shoulders, as the little kobolds stand tall and proud. All three gaze upward, their faces grave as acolytes in the middle of a ceremony, and present a humble offering to the dragon. The last corn dog of the patch.
Aw, look at that. They want to share with you. Put my heart and soul into it. So you know it's good eats.
The dragon accepts the offering, an awkward smile on his face, as four sets of eyes watch his every move. He lifts his mouth, opens his jaw, takes a bite. Savory flavors, still unfamiliar to his palate, explode upon his tongue. The hot dog has cooled off, and the cornbread has grown a little soggy with grease. He chews, slow and considering, then swallows.
It's delicious. Thank you, Luke. Thank you so much, boys.
The kobolds chirp in glee, overjoyed at his acceptance of their tribute, and then they scamper off, minds already turning to what a new mischief they can dream up. Arm in arm, Kota and Luke wander over to take their places at the table. The griffin plops into his chair with a giddy laugh, while the dragon continues taking careful bites of his corn dog. All right, I'll end the part here, so I'll see you around, everyone.